Hindi natin mapapalaya ang ating mga sarili maliban kung sumunong tayo na nagkakaisa sa iisang hangarin.
Ang tunay na makabayan ay ang tumutupad ng pagtapat na paglingkuran ang minamahal nating inang bayan.
This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
Lines, drug strikes. The U.S. military launched strikes on 3 boats allegedly linked to drug trafficking in the Eastern Pacific, killing 8 people described as narco-terrorists as Washington steps up counter-narcotics operations in the region. Peace push. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says the United States is expected growing divisions in Europe over war funding. Clashes continue. Thailand and Cambodia are trading accusations over renewed fighting along their disputed border, with both sides reporting civilian casualties, mass displacement, and alleged ceasefire violations. The U.S. military launched a series of strikes against 3 boats, killing 8 individuals described as narco-terrorists as Washington intensifies its counter-narcotics operations in the region. Almar Farsuelo has the details.
The U.S. military has launched a series of strikes against 3 boats it claims were involved in drug trafficking operations in the Eastern Pacific, killing 8 people described as narco-terrorists. According to U.S. Southern Command, the attacks targeted the 3 vessels traveling along known drug trafficking routes in the Eastern Pacific. Intelligence reportedly confirmed that boats were engaged in narcotics smuggling. The strikes were carried out by Joint Task Force Southern Spear under orders from U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. Southern Command said 8 male suspects were killed during the operations, 3 on the first boat, 2 on the second, and 3 on the third. The incident comes amid an ongoing U.S. military build-up and intensified counter-narcotics operations in the region. President Donald Trump has declined to rule out land-based strikes or even a possible ground invasion. Venezuela has denied the drug trafficking allegations, accusing the United States of imperialism and attempting regime change. The exact time and location of the released footage could not be independently verified. Reporting for Newsline World, Almar Farsuelo, SMNI News.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says the United States is expected to contact Russia in the coming days as Ukraine pushes forward with a peace proposal amid growing divisions inside Europe over how to fund the war. This story from Angel Pastor.
At a joint press conference in The Hague, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said negotiations have entered a sensitive phase, with Washington expected to reach out to Moscow shortly. Zelensky said discussions in Berlin covered difficult issues and that further talks with Ukraine would follow after the U.S. contacts Russia. Zelensky said the sooner the better, suggesting outreach could happen within days or over the weekend. He reiterated that Ukraine views European Union membership as a core security guarantee, saying the position is supported by many of Kiev's partners. Zelensky said while details and conditions remain unclear, EU accession remains central to Ukraine's long-term security framework. Dutch Prime Minister Dick Schoof reaffirmed continued military support to Ukraine, announcing accelerated funding for 2026, including €700 million in additional assistance and €250 million earmarked for ammunition purchases for F-16 fighter jets. Schoof also said European leaders will soon debate financing Ukraine's needs for 2026 and 2027, including a controversial proposal to use frozen Russian assets. That plan faces resistance from several EU states concerned about legal risks and investor confidence, while Moscow has condemned any seizure of assets as illegal. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Angel Pastor, SMNI News.
Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi met with Saudi counterpart Prince Faisal in Riyadh to strengthen ties, focusing on diplomacy, trade, and regional issues. Both nations highlighted the need for a united stance on global challenges, including a fair resolution to the Palestinian issue. Paul Montibon tells us more.
Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi met with Saudi Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud in Riyadh Sunday as part of the efforts to deepen bilateral relations between the two countries. Following a historic discussion between top diplomats of both nations, China expressed its intention to further strengthen its ties with Saudi Arabia. One of the key topics of the talks was the expansion of cooperation in diplomacy, trade, and regional issues. Wang Yi emphasized that China considers Saudi Arabia a priority in Middle East diplomacy and an important global partner. He also highlighted China's goal to expand cooperation in the energy sector and other emerging industries. Wang stressed the importance of stronger coordination on multilateral platforms such as the United Nations, G20, and BRICS. The two sides also agreed to support a comprehensive and just solution to the Palestinian issue, including the establishment of an independent Palestinian state. As a symbol of their growing ties, China and Saudi Arabia signed a mutual visa waiver agreement for holders of diplomatic, special, and service passports. This agreement marks a significant step toward further strengthening the relationship between the two countries in the years to come. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Paul Montibon, SMNI News.
The proposed 2026 national budget may end up being reenacted after the Department of Public Works and Highways admitted that the data is submitted to the Senate was incomplete, an oversight that caused delays and deadlock in the bicameral conference committee. This report from Toyer Gomez.
On Tuesday morning, the DPWH apologized after it was discovered that the information used to determine the cost of nearly 10,000 projects for 2026 was incomplete. According to the agency, the earlier data based solely on regional adjustment factors from the updated construction materials price data, or CMPD, was insufficient. In response, the DPWH has submitted additional data that now take into account hauling distances and localized market behavior to make the funding basis for the project more realistic. According to Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, chair of the Senate Committee on Finance, the new data will first undergo thorough validation before being applied to the budget. Gatchalian further stressed that the Senate will not allow any overpriced projects to slip through. Amid the ongoing issues, Senator Panfilo Ping Lacson warned that the 2026 budget may fail to pass on time and could end up as a reenacted budget. Among the problems cited were the deadlock in DPWH allocations, the increased funding for the Department of Agriculture's farm-to-market roads, and the medical assistance for indigent and financially incapacitated patients, or MAIFI program of the Department of Health. Meanwhile, Senator Francis Kiko Pangilinan said that at least 5 billion peso worth of FMR projects projects have not been properly identified. Pangilinan added that FMR projects approved by the Bicameral Conference Committee have already reached 33 billion pesos. But in the newly submitted list, projects worth 8 billion pesos have no coordinates. It is also unclear whether the list came from the House of Representatives or from the Department of Agriculture. Because of this, most senators would rather have a reenacted budget in the first few months of 2026 than watch the approval of a questionable General Appropriations Act. Reporting for Newsline World, Troy Gomez, SMNI News.
Up next, female lawmakers clash in the Mexico City Congress as opposition legislators protested a controversial rail contract, accusing the ruling party of authoritarian tactics to silence dissent. And Bondi Probe. The National Bureau of Investigation says it is coordinating with multiple agencies over the Bondi shooting in Australia on December 14, 2025, and the entry into the Philippines of 2 suspects allegedly linked to the attack. More news when Newsline World returns.
Madalas ka bang napapasobra sa pag-scroll sa phone mo kahit puro masasamang balita ang nakikita mo? Isipin mo ito. Nakahiga ka na sa kama, nagche-check lang ng phone bago matulog. Tapos, hindi mo na malayan, ilang oras ka na palang nagbabasa at nanonood ng mga balita tungkol sa digmaan, sakuna, politika, at lahat ng masasamang nangyayari sa mundo. Nakakaramdam ka na ng kaba at pagod, pero tuloy mo pa rin ang scroll mo. Ang tawag dyan ay doom scrolling. Ito ang habit ng paulit-ulit na pagtingin sa mga negatibo o nakakadepress na content tulad ng digmaan, krimen o problema sa mundo. Nakaka-stress, pero hindi mo pa rin mapigilan. Ayon sa isang pag-aaral ng Texas Tech University, ang sobrang konsumo ng masasamang balita ay nauugnay sa pagtaas ng stress, anxiety at pisikal na sintomas gaya ng pagkapagod at sakit ng ulo. Ayon naman sa Harvard Health, ang doom scrolling ay nagpapataas ng fight or flight hormones tulad ng cortisol at adrenaline na nakakapagpabigat ng isip at katawan. Nakakaapekto ito sa iyong mood, tulog at maging sa mental at physical health mo. At kapag naman puro memes at random na content ang pinapanood mo ng sunod-sunod hanggang sa mawalan ka na ng gana na mag-isip at gumawa ng iba pang gawain, ang tawag naman diyan ay brain rot. Sa Gen Z at tinatawag na internet culture, ang brain rot ay overconsumption o sobrang tagal na panonood ng paulit-ulit, mababaw, magulo o walang saysay na content online hanggang sa parang manhid na ang utak mo. Kapag nasobrahan, syempre, nakakasama. Nawawalan ka na ng focus, nawawala ang motivation, hirap mag-isip ng malalim, parang lutang o foggy ang utak. Masaya sa simula, pero kapag sobra, napapagod ang isip mo. Nahihirapang mag-concentrate at parang lutang. Mas delikado
ay hatid sa inyo ng SMNI.
Ngunit tandaan, hindi ito nakukuha sa simpleng pakikisalamuha. Hindi mo agad mararamdaman, pero unti-unti nitong pinapahina ang katawan. At kapag hindi naagapan, humahantong ito sa AIDS, ang huling yugto na impeksyon, kung saan halos wala ng panlaban ng katawan laban sa sakit. Patuloy na dumadami ang kaso ng sakit na ito sa Pilipinas. Isang nakababahalang pagtaas. Umabot na sa 500% ang itinaas ng HIV cases sa mga kabataang edad 15 hanggang 25. Ayon mismo sa Department of Health, 56 na bagong kaso ang naitatala kada araw sa bansa mula Enero hanggang Marso 2025. At ang pinakamatinding apektado, ang kalalakihan at kabataang Pilipino. Dahil dito, ang Pilipinas na ngayon ang may pinakamataas na bilang ng bagong kaso ng HIV sa buong Western Pacific region. Isang indikasyon ng lumulubahang sitwasyon. Kaya nananawagan ng Department of Health gawing opisyal at urgent ang laban sa HIV sa pamamagitan ng isang Public Health Emergency Declaration. Kalalakihan ng pangunahing apektado. 95% ng bagong kaso ay lalaki. Mahigit 1/4 ay kabataang nasa edad 15 hanggang 24. Habang wala pang deklarasyon, patuloy ang DOH sa mga sumusunod na hakbang: HIV testing, libreng gamot, self-test kits, at pakikipagtulungan sa DepEd para sa edukasyon sa mga paaralan. Isinulong rin ng DOH ang online patient appointment system para sa HIV patients. Layunin nitong gawing mas madali at mas personal ang pag-access sa libreng gamutan at konsultasyon. Ayon sa schedule ng pasyente, ang HIV ay hindi tulad ng flu. Hindi ito basta naipapasa sa hangin. Ito ay naipapasa sa pamamagitan ng personal na desisyon. Kailangan din nating pagtuunan ng pansin ang ugali, disiplina, at personal na responsibilidad. Isang paalala mula sa SMNI.
Maging ligtas, maging handa. Narito ang ilang paalala kung sakaling tumama ang lindol. Maghanda ng emergency kits na may lamang flashlight, pito, first aid kit, tubig at pagkain. Alamin ang emergency exits sa inyong bahay, paaralan o opisina. Habang lumilindol, magtago sa ilalim ng matibay na lamesa upang maprotektahan ang sarili sa mga nahuhulog na bagay. Lumayo sa mga bintana at mabibigat na gamit na maaaring mahulog. Kung ikaw ay nasa labas, lumayo sa mga gusali, puno o poste na maaaring matumba. Kung ikaw ay nagmamaneho, itabi at ihinto ang sasakyan at lumabas. Pagkatapos ng lindol, gamitin ang hagdan sa paglabas ng gusali at huwag gumamit ng elevator. Maging alerto sa aftershocks at manatili sa open space kung kinakailangan. Maging ligtas at maging handa sa anumang sakuna. Ang paalalang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng SMNI.
Maging alerto at handa tuwing may bagyo. Upang manatiling ligtas, narito ang ilang mahahalagang paalala. Manatili sa loob ng bahay. Iwasan ang paglabas, lalo na kung malakas ang ulan at hangin. Mag-imbak ng pagkain at malinis na tubig. Maghanda ng emergency kit. Manatiling updated sa lagay ng panahon. Maghanda ng mga flashlight at extra baterya. Panatilihing fully charged ang iyong cellphone. I-secure ang mahahalagang dokumento sa waterproof na lalagyan. Patayin ang kuryente, gas at tubig kung may banta ng pagbaha. Alamin ang iyong local emergency hotlines. Putulin o tapyasan ang mga sanga ng puno na maaaring mabuwal sa malakas na ulan at hangin. Lumikas agad kung inabisuhan ng mga otoridad. Maging ligtas at maging handa sa panahon ng kalamidad. Ang paalalang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng SMNI.
Female lawmakers clash in the Mexico City Congress opposition. Lawmakers from the National Action Party protested a controversial contract granting rail operations to RATP Dev. The altercation, which involved physical confrontations, was fueled by accusations that the ruling party was using authoritarian tactics to bypass opposition voices and undermine democracy. Joy Tabanel has more.
A dramatic clash erupted inside the Mexico City Congress on Monday as opposition lawmakers from the National Action Party, or PAN, clashed with the ruling Moreno Party over a controversial proposal. The dispute turned violent, with female lawmakers shoving, slapping, and pulling each other's hair during the heated session. This took place during a debate over reforms to the Transparency Oversight Agency of Mexico City. The tensions began after Jesus Sesma, president of the board of directors, announced the results, approving a contract that would hand over the operation of key rail lines to RATP Dev PAN. Lawmakers immediately protested, accusing the current administration of using authoritarian tactics to push decisions through without consulting the opposition. Claudia Perez, deputy of National Action Party, defended their goal.
El día de hoy, la intención era defender la democracia, generar equilibrios, porque no, señor, esto que está haciendo no es parte de ser más transparentes, es poner el yugo del gobierno bajo la rendición de cuentas y la transparencia. Se necesitan equilibrios, por eso fue la razón de subirnos y tomar la tribuna. Nosotros desde el día 1 dijimos que íbamos a hacer resistencia ante el quiebre que quieren hacer de la democracia.
As the situation escalated, PAN deputies took over the legislative podium, pushing back against what they saw as an undemocratic process. Perez stressed that their protest was not just political, but a defense of Mexico's democracy. The altercation continued as members of PAN accused the ruling Moreno Party of using violence and undermining democratic process. According to Perez, they consider Moreno Party as part of the problem destroying the country. Joy Tabanel, your citizen correspondent reporting for Newsline World.
Hundreds gathered outside a Bondi Pavilion in Sydney on Tuesday as the city's Jewish community mourned the victims of the Hanukkah mass shooting that left at least 16 people dead and shocked the nation. The latest updates from Almar Fersuelo.
Mourners are laying flower bouquets, lighting candles, and embracing as they wept. Portraits of the victims were placed among candles and flowers. Community members sang together in remembrance. Some local residents criticized the Australian government, accusing it of failing to confront rising extremism. They described the attack as a wake-up call for the country and warned that public safety and social cohesion are at risk.
The Australian government has been weak. It's been weak in the way that they have allowed symbols of Islamism to appear every weekend in marches in every city in this country. So the Australian government is weak, has turned a blind eye to Islamism and the growing of Islamism in this country, and this tragedy is the outcome of that weakness.
Police say the Bondi Beach attack killed 16 people, including one of the gunmen, and wounded more than 40 others. Among the dead were Rabbi Eli Schlanger and a Holocaust survivor. According to community leaders, authorities identified the attackers as father and son, Sajid Akram, 50 years old, and Navid Akram, 24 years old. Sajid Akram was shot dead by police at the scene, while his son was arrested and remained in custody. Investigators say the motive is still under investigation. Israel's president and prime minister both condemned the attack and urged stronger action against anti-Semitism. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese described the shooting as a terrorist and anti-Semitic act. rejecting claims that his government's policies contributed to the violence.
ולתת את הביטחון הדרוש, את ההבטחה הדרושה לקהילות היהודיות בעולם, וכדאי שיקשיבו לאזהרות שלנו. אני דורש מהם פעולה עכשיו.
Netanyahu claimed that Australia's recognition of Palestinian state had contributed to the attack, accusing Albanese of weakness in the fight against anti-Semitism. Albanese rejected the accusations in an interview on Monday. Reporting for Newsline World, Almar Forsualo, SMNI News.
Malacanang clarified that there is no confirmed information indicating a threat to national security following the visit to the Philippines of two individuals involved in the Bondi Beach shooting in Australia. President Catarong reports.
Malacanang has sought an official statement from the National Security Council or NSC regarding reports by the Bureau of Immigration that two suspects in the Bondi Beach shooting in Australia traveled to the Philippines in November. During a palace briefing on Tuesday, Palace Press Officer and Presidential Communications Office Undersecretary Claire Castro read the NSC statement, saying they are aware of the reports about the individuals traveled to the Philippines and that these are still being verified. The NSC added that at present there is no confirmed information indicating that their visit posed a threat to national security, nor it is being considered a serious or imminent concern.
Standard security, immigration, and counterterrorism protocols remain fully active with coordination ongoing with Australian authorities. So yan po ang sinabi ng National Security Council patungkol po dyan.
Regarding the possibility of coordination between the President and Australian officials, as well as the alleged sharing of intelligence information, the official said she would provide an update once new information becomes available. When asked about what the suspect did while they were in the Philippines, Castro said government has no details yet as these are still being validated by the NSC. Meanwhile, with respect to the passports used by the individuals to enter the country, the palace official said this will still be clarified with the Bureau of Immigration. For God and my beloved Philippines, Angel Pastor, SMNI News.
The National Bureau of Investigation continues its close coordination with various government agencies in connection with the investigation into the shooting incident in Bondi, Australia on December 14, 2025, and the entry into the Philippines of two suspects allegedly linked to the incident. Kai Villan tells us more.
According to Palmer Maliari, spokesperson of the National Bureau of Investigation, the NBI is coordinating with the Bureau of Immigration, the Philippine National Police, and the Armed Forces of the Philippines to monitor the movements of two individuals allegedly involved in the shooting at Bondi Beach. Maliari explained that the NBI has also raised the alert level of its district and its regional offices in several areas in the southern part of the country to monitor and backtrack the activities of the two suspects while they were in the Philippines. The NBI confirmed that the two suspects arrived in the country on November 1 and departed on November 28. Records show that they came from Sydney and returned to the same city after their stay in the Philippines. At present, the NBI is verifying several areas in the southern Philippines as possible places visited by the suspects. The agency has also received information that the two allegedly went to Davao and nearby localities. There are also reports suggesting that their visit may be linked to alleged studies or training related to terrorism. However, Maliari clarified that this remains only one of the possibilities being considered and that there is still insufficient evidence to confirm this. The NBI is likewise not ruling out the possibility that the two suspects traveled to the Philippines because they have acquaintances in the country. Due to the length of their stay in certain parts of Mindanao, the NBI is now investigating whether any form of training or significant activity may have taken place during their stay in the country.
We are entertaining that possibility, but we cannot confirm that. Now, ang reason why we would like to backtrack is that kung halimbawa nag-stay sa isang locality, most probably may ginawa na importante.
Reporting for Newsline World, Kai Villan, SMNI News.
When we return, clashes continue. Thailand and Cambodia are trading accusations over the renewed fighting along their disputed border, with both sides reporting civilian casualties, mass displacement, and alleged ceasefire violations. More news after the break.
Sa panahon ng tag-ulan, hindi lang baha at ulan ang dapat bantayan, kundi pati na rin mga sakit na pwedeng makahawa. At dahil ngayon ay rainy season, nagbabala ang Department of Health laban sa tinatawag na wild diseases. 4 na klase ng sakit na karaniwang nakukuha ng tao tuwing maulan. Ito ang W o waterborne diseases, gaya ng pagdudumi o gastroenteritis. I o influenza-like illnesses, gaya ng sipon, ubo at lagnat. L o leptospirosis, na maaaring makuha mula sa ihi ng mga daga sa baha. At D o dengue, na dala ng mga lamok. Kapag baha, mas mabilis kumalat ang mikrobyo. Kaya't ugaliin ang paghuhugas ng kamay at agad maligo matapos lumusong sa baha. Ano ang dapat gawin para maiwasan ang wild diseases? Tumutok sa weather updates. Magsuot ng kapote at bota. Siguraduhing malinis ang iniinom na tubig. Agad kumonsulta sa health center kung may nararamdamang sintomas. Mainam din gawin ang 40 o ang taob, taktak, tuyo at takip para maiwasan ang dengue sa bahay at komunidad. Maglinis, magmasid, mag-ingat. Labanan ang wild diseases ngayong tag-ulan. Ang paalalang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng SMNI.
Thailand and Cambodia have exchanged accusations over renewed fighting along their disputed border, with both governments reporting civilian casualties, mass displacement, and alleged violations of a ceasefire brokered earlier this year. Let's hear the update from Jane Cadnita.
Thailand's Ministry of Defense claimed that Cambodian forces fired BM-21 multiple rocket launchers into Thai territory early Tuesday, targeting military positions near the Prasat Thakwai area. Bangkok reports that at least 16 Thai nationals killed since fighting escalated, including 1 civilian killed by rocket shrapnel and 6 others injured. Thai authorities say more than 263,000 people have fled to temporary shelters as the government moves to restrict Thai-registered vessels suspected of supplying fuel, gas, or arms to Cambodia.
This morning, at 6:47 and 7 o'clock, with the Cambodian armed forces still bombarding and shelling the Thai sovereignty and Thai territory throughout the border, with predominantly the attack from the multiple rocket launchers of BM-21, attacking some of the key terrains, namely Hill 677, which is near Chong An Ma area. This is the key location or the key terrain where the Cambodian troops have been targeting on. The latest civilian fatalities, the number of people killed as a result of the fighting with the collateral effects, remains at 15 persons. And 1 civilian fatality actually killed as a result of the Cambodian rocket BM-21 attack. Civilians injured as a result of the BM-21 attack remains at 6 persons. The temporary shelters are currently numbered at 996 shelters. People in the shelter, and of course the evacuees rather, in the shelters that now have gone up to 263,285 persons.
Cambodia, meanwhile, denies targeting civilians and accuses Thailand of launching sustained military attacks across Cambodian territory, including artillery strikes, air operations, and naval fire. Phnom Penh says that at least 15 civilians have been killed, 76 injured, and more than 422,000 people displaced since clashes resumed. Both sides are accusing each other of violating the ceasefire signed on October 26, brokered by U.S. President Donald Trump.
The Thai side has continuously violated the ceasefire and the joint declaration signed by the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Cambodia and the Kingdom of Thailand on October 26, 2025. Cambodia called on the international community to strongly condemn Thailand's violation of the joint declaration and its repeated war crimes and unlawful activities, as well as demand that Thailand take full responsibility for such brazen violation.
The renewed fighting follows weeks of heightened tensions along the Thai-Cambodian border, with both governments calling for international attention while insisting that their military actions are defensive in nature. Diplomatic efforts to restore the ceasefire have yet to yield a breakthrough, as evacuations and humanitarian concerns continue to grow on both sides of the border. This has been Jane Conita, Global Citizen Correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
Protests erupted Honduras as Libre Party supporters accused the government of election fraud and foreign interference. Demonstrators blocked roads and burned tires while the national police intervened to control the situation. Joy Tabanao reports.
In Honduras, tensions remain high over the legitimacy of the recent election results. A dramatic protest unfolded recently in Tegucigalpa as supporters of the Liberty and Refoundation Party, or Libre Party, took to the streets to protest alleged election fraud. The demonstrators accused the government of manipulating election results. According to the protesters, they will not allow fraud to take hold in Honduras. They emphasized their fight to protect democracy in the country, with a statement from Libre Party members condemning a technical coup orchestrated by international forces, including support from U.S. President Donald Trump.
No podemos permitir que nos estén implementando un fraude a instancia de la comunidad internacional, prestándose a dar un golpe técnico a la democracia de Honduras solo porque a Donald Trump se le antoje. Nosotros vamos a luchar porque la democracia en Honduras se respete.
Angry protesters set tires on fire and blocked roads. Authorities quickly intervened to control the situation. The National Police deployed an armed vehicle to put out the fire near a gas station that posed a potential danger. Milton Funes Peralta, the National Police Commissioner, said their actions were necessary to ensure the safety of residents and prevent further damage.
Ahorita vamos a apagar las llantas porque usted ve, estamos a 100 metros de una estación de gasolinera que puede causar un problema. Está contaminando el ambiente. Entonces vamos a apagar en estos momentos, hablar con el dirigente porque vamos a quitar. Vamos a hacer uso de la tanqueta para apagar las llantas.
Tensions continue to rise in Honduras as authorities take measures to prevent further violence. Protests are ongoing as allegations of fraud and international interference continue to swirl in the country. Joy Tabanao, your citizen correspondent reporting for Newsline World.
Another former government official has returned a substantial amount to the state. Former DPWH NCR Regional Director Gerard Opulencia turned over 40 million pesos today, part of his 150 million restitution commitment. Details from Kai Villan.
After former DPWH District Engineer Henry Alcantara, it is now former DPWH NCR Regional Director Gerard Opulencia who has returned funds to the DOJ, with 40 million pesos turned over as an initial payment. The DOJ clarified that the money did not come from flood control projects in Bulacan, but allegedly from kickbacks he received from illegal transactions in other projects. This clarification was made in relation to the complaints he is facing over alleged ghosts of flood control projects in Bulacan. Like the so-called BGC Boys or Bulacan Group of Contractors, Opulencia is among those who have applied for the Witness Protection Program, and his knowledge is believed to be of significant help in building the case. The DOJ added that he voluntarily approached the department to disclose his illegal transactions.
Siya ay kasalukuyang
provisionally admitted sa Witness Protection Program ng Department of Justice. Sa kaalaman din ng lahat, hindi siya isa doon sa mga nag-witness sa Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, pero sa patuloy naming sasaliksik at paghikayat sa mga nais lumapit at tumulong sa pamahalaan, nabatid ng kagawaran na ang kanyang mga nalalaman, unang-una, ay magiging material para mahabol natin yung mga dapat talagang nahuli ng kaso.
Yung kanyang testimonya ay patungkol sa mga kaso na nangyari sa Bulacan. Pero yung pagsasauli ng pera ay base doon sa mga transaksyon na iba na pinasangkutan niya nung siya ay nasa NCR pa. At yun ang pinagmasihan ng pagsasauli. Kasi dito sa mga flood control projects sa Bulacan, iniimbestigahan sa kasalukuyan, wala naman siyang natatanggap, wala siyang kuhang bahagi. Pero yung kanyang testimonya ay mahalaga, kaya kinonsider siya na pasukin at tanggapin sa loob ng programa.
Alcantara is also set to return additional funds he allegedly pocketed from flood control projects. It can be recalled that he initially returned 110 million pesos. Out of the 300 million pesos he is required to restitute. However, when and how much he will return next have yet to be disclosed.
Very soon, very soon. For security reasons, we cannot divulge yung exact, but information have been relayed to us that naibabalik ko very soon.
Meanwhile, the DOJ is calling on other individuals involved who have yet to return the money they earned from the anomalous projects to come forward and restitute the funds.
Gusto nating ibalik sa tao kung ano yung para sa tao, para sa publiko. Sabihin man nila na maliit na halaga ito kumpara dun sa mga pag-uusapang bilyong-bilyong piso. Pero mas maigi na kahit papano, paunti-unti may balik natin kaysa hintayin pa natin mawala ito. At ito'y may tago, may waldas, magastos. Mas maigi na ito'y maibalik. Nang sa gano'n naman, maibsa naman yung sakit na nararamdaman ng ating mga kababayan.
Reporting for Newsline World, Kai Villan, SMNI News.
The Department of Agriculture expects the country's rice imports to drop to below 4 million metric tons next year. At the same time, the agency plans to increase tariffs on imported rice to protect local farmers. However, some agricultural groups say the proposal only sounds good and would still fail to bring real relief to farmers. Sheena Torno for this report.
Despite continued calls to strengthen local palay production, the country remains reliant on rice imports to ensure adequate market supply. In recent years, the Philippines has imported more than 4 million metric tons of rice, an indication of the persistent challenges facing the agriculture sector. However, the Department of Agriculture is confident that local crop production will improve next year. According to the DA's estimates, rice imports will drop to below 4 million metric tons in 2026.
Ang targeted ng importation natin for next year, 3.6 to 3.8 million tons lang. Well, depende kung may sakuna or whatever. Problema kasi meron tayong 37,000 hectares na tinamaan sa Region 1 na hindi matataniman ngayon eh. And the total effect nun sa first half of the year is 120,000 tons.
The Secretary explained that this is part of efforts to strengthen local production, including providing support to farmers and increasing palay yields. He said this would be sufficient to meet the country's needs without affecting farm gate palay prices. He also noted that palay production could possibly reach a record high next year.
We were assuming it will be the same as this year minimum, 19.8. We were just basing it on, of course, we want, the actual projection is balik kami sa 20.4.
Laurel added that he has already met with rice importers, during which the agency laid out its plan to ensure that the volume of imported rice keeps prices affordable for consumers. In line with this, the Department of Agriculture also plans to raise the tariff on imported rice to 20% from the current 15% as agreed upon by the economic managers. The new tariff will take effect on January 1, 2026. However, if the Federation of Free Farmers is asked, they remain unconvinced by the proposal.
Akala namin ang kanilang intensyon ay maprotektahan yung ating local palay kwan.
barley producers. Mukhang mas mahalaga sa kanila yung maprotektahan yata yung mga important. Maganda pakinggan pero ang record kasi ng ating pamahalaan.
The group is calling for the tariff on agricultural products, especially rice, to be restored to the previous 35%. It can be recalled that according to the estimates of the United States Department of Agriculture, Philippine rice imports could reach 5.5 million metric tons for 2025 to 2026. However, with an importation ban already in place, and the agency insisting that it will strictly monitor and limit the volume of imported rice to protect farm gate palay prices, the projection appears unlikely to materialize. For God and for my beloved Philippines, this has been Sheena Torno, SMNI News.
Undefeated world's middleweight champion Terence Crawford has announced his retirement from boxing. Meanwhile, Paris Saint-Germain and France forward Ousmane Dembélé has been crowned FIFA Best Men's Player of the Year. More on this from Carlo de la Peña.
Terence Crawford is stepping away from boxing 3 months after a career-defining victory over Saul Canelo Alvarez. Crawford retires with an undefeated professional record of 42 wins, including 31 knockouts. He remains the reigning WBA, IBF, and WBO super middleweight champion. He had also held the WBC super middleweight title but was stripped off the belt earlier this month following a dispute over sanctioning fees. In his retirement message, Crawford said he was stepping away from competition on his own terms, describing his decision as winning a different type of battle. Crawford turned professional in 2008 and won his first world title in 2014 after defeating Ricky Burns of Scotland for the WBO lightweight crown. Over the course of his career, Crawford won 18 world titles across 5 weight divisions, culminating in his victory over Alvarez. He retires having never been officially knocked down in a fight, with all 42 of his victories coming by unanimous decision or stoppage and no judge ever scoring a bout in favor of an opponent. Meanwhile, Paris Saint-Germain and France forward Ousmane Dembélé has been crowned FIFA Best Men's Player of the Year after a stellar 2024-2025 season with the French Giants. The accolade was handed to the 28-year-old at the FIFA Best ceremony in Qatar on Tuesday, adding to the Ballon d'Or he won in September. Dembélé played a key role in PSG's historic 2024-2025 campaign, helping the club secure 4 trophies, including their first ever UEFA Champions League title under coach Luis Enrique. The former Barcelona and Borussia Dortmund winger registered 51 goal contributions in 53 matches across all competitions last season, scoring 35 goals, 8 of which came in the Champions League. His decisive goals in the knockout stages against Liverpool and Arsenal proved crucial in PSG's European success. Dembélé beat Barcelona's Lamine Yamal and Real Madrid star Kylian Mbappe to the award, which is based on performances from August 2024 to August 2025. The FIFA Best Men's Player Award is voted on by national team coaches, national team captains, journalists, and fans. Despite a slow start to the season, Dembélé's form improved significantly after being redeployed as a central forward, cementing his status as one of the world's top players. On the international stage, Dembélé also helped France qualify for next summer's World Cup, where the 2-time champions have been drawn alongside Senegal, Norway, and a playoff winner. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Carlo de la Peña bringing you the latest sports news.
Thousands of runners in Santa Claus costumes turned the streets of Mexico City into a festive sea of red on Sunday as the Santa Run 2025 marked its 7th year by uniting fitness, family fun, and a shared mission to help children in need. Thousands of runners dressed as Santa Claus filled the streets of Mexico City on Sunday as the Santa Run 2025 returned for its 7th year, blending fitness, family fun, and charity in a festive celebration of the season. The Santa Run once again drew participants of all ages, uniting more than 3,000 runners and walkers in a colorful display of holiday cheer. Starting before 7 a.m., participants took part in 5- and 10-kilometer races alongside a 1-kilometer walk designed to include children, senior citizens, and even pets. Organizers highlighted the growing impact of the event, which continues to expand beyond the capital. Renata Yanez, one of the event's organizers, shared that a second edition will be held in Torreon next weekend, which plans for a further expansion in the coming year. Beyond fitness and fun, the Santa Run remains rooted in its charitable mission. Proceeds from the event support Fundación Somos Luz, a civil association dedicated to helping and caring for children living on the streets of Mexico City. Inspired by similar runs seen in Australia, the organizers introduced the Santa Run to Mexico in 2019, adapting and costume with charitable causes. Ella Gross, once hailed as the most attractive girl in the world, has officially transitioned into the K-pop industry, marking the beginning of her new career as an idol. Meanwhile, Hollywood actress and humanitarian Angelina Jolie drew widespread attention after publicly displaying her mastectomy scars, earning praise for promoting body positivity and raising awareness about breast cancer and preventive healthcare. Blake Ann has all the buzz.
Once dubbed the most attractive girl in the world, American-Korean model Ella Gross has taken a major step in her career, officially debuting as a K-pop star. Ella Gross, who rose to international fame as a child model, has transitioned into the K-pop industry after years in the spotlight. Known for her striking visuals and strong social media presence, Gross previously worked with major fashion brands and appeared in high-profile campaigns. Now, she is entering a new chapter as a K-pop idol, drawing attention from fans worldwide who have followed her journey from modeling to music. Ella Gross had been training for several years before her official debut, a process that included vocal training, dance practice, and language preparation, hallmarks of the highly competitive K-pop system. Fans and industry observers say her background in modeling and global exposure gives her a unique edge as she steps into the international K-pop stage. Gross' debut highlights the growing crossover between global fashion, social media influence, and K-pop as the industry continues to attract talents with international backgrounds and worldwide appeal. Hollywood actress and humanitarian Angelina Jolie is drawing widespread attention after openly displaying her mastectomy scars, a move praised by many as a powerful statement in body positivity and cancer awareness. Jolie previously revealed her decision to undergo a preventive double mastectomy due to a high genetic risk of breast cancer, appeared publicly showing the scars from the procedure. Supporters applauded the actress for her openness, with many saying her decision helps normalize conversations around breast cancer, survival, and women's health. Social media users described the moment as brave and empowering, thanking Jolie for using her platform to challenge a stigma surrounding surgical scars and medical choices. The actress has long been an advocate for preventive health care and transparency, first sharing her medical decision in 2013 to encourage women to seek information and make informed choices about their health. Jolie's latest appearance has reignited global discussions in body acceptance, preventive medicine, and the importance of awareness around breast cancer, with many praising her for turning a deeply personal experience into a message of strength and solidarity. And that's all for now. I'm Blake Ann, bringing you the latest showbiz.
And before we end, may be inspired with the words of the sun. In everything you want to do, if you are committed, if you are consistent, you will succeed. And for our Christmas countdown, only 8 days to go before Christmas. And that's all for this edition of Newsline Bro. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, I am Franco Baranda. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.